Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251-10. Now, this is something very unique, very special, and I really have a sweet spot for this tank. Objectively speaking, it's not really good, and it's not really something really desirable, and you just could briefly see that the driving model leaves things to be desired. Also, it wobbles when standing still, so it's kind of buggy, and, the shells are okay-ish for the battle rating. Now, what is this thing? How can you get it? Is it worth it? Etc., etc. So, the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251-10, or in English, Sd.Kfz.251/10, is a German half-track that you can obtain in the ongoing wargame Strategist Event Marathon. It takes quite a lot of playing to get it, but you can then sell it or buy it, depending on where you stand, on the marketplace. So it is a premium, however it's a very low tier premium, battle rating 1.0, and the modifiers are actually pretty bad when it comes to RP and SL. So research points and silver lines. So it's more of a collector's item. As such, it has great value because, such early war, low tier stuff is something that you just don't see too much in other games, I guess. That is something that you don't see in Wall of Tanks or Armored Warfare. And in the world of War Thunder, it's definitely something that you might enjoy to flex, on your friends with, etc. But anyway, so what is this thing? How is it when it comes to mobility, when it comes to the firepower and the armor? Let's begin with the armor, and it's 8mm, at best 14.5 on the gun shield, even 6mm. It's open top, it's large, it can hull break, it's not really well protected. The speed. Top speed is 52 km per hour forward and 10 km per hour in reverse. However, it doesn't have neutral steering, and for an 8-ton vehicle, you only have a 100 horsepower strong engine. So that's not really that great. That's like, 12.5 horsepower per ton ratio. And there is a lot of friction when it comes to driving this tank when you try to change direction. But then you have no traction because the vehicle oversteers, it lists to a side in a hard corner, it loses all the speed. So the mobility and the armor are not great. What about the firepower? Well, this thing has a 37mm PaK L45 cannon with a whopping 168 rounds of ammunition. You have two shell types, your Panzergranate, aka an APHE. No, it's an APHE, not an APCBC, not an APHE BC round. It's a good old APHE round. With an astonishing 47mm of penetration, 745 meters per second mass velocity, and 22 grams of TNT equivalent bursting charge. It kind of does that job against flat low tier targets, or low tier targets with flat armor plating, shall I say. For a bit more tougher targets, in theory, you have the Panzergranate 40, the APCR round. That is actually quite high velocity with 1020 meters per second and has 86 millimeters of penetration, but the post-penetration damage effect is bad. The performance against sloped armor is bad. At distance, it's bad. And, the only thing that you can make up for with is the rate of fire. So, this is a low tier premium that is slow, that is not very maneuverable, that is a huge target, easy to kill even by biplanes from above with machine guns, and its firepower is leaves things to be desired. The gun handling is also bad, and then there is the reload. Well, the reload of such a gun is to be considered very high, 2.7 seconds. Yeah, that is correct, 2.7 seconds is quite a high reload. But it feels like it should be even a bit faster. And just for comparison, the M2A4 for the Americans has a reload of, wait for it, 2.9 seconds. So yeah, this might be some of the fastest single round reload cannon in the game. but it also needs it because post-penetration damage effect, penetration in the first place, and overall handling is abysmal. So how much value can you get out of this? As I said, as a premium, the modifiers are bad. At low tier, you're seal clubbing with anything anyway, and there are significantly better tanks. It doesn't really fit the meta too well, and I think that you can get your hands on significantly more valuable stuff for the secret documents and all the stuff that they have to do in the war game called Strategist to get some other high tier stuff or even better premium stuff. However, I think that as a supporting vehicle, as a tank that can just support the team with long range fire, it's difficult. Long range fire, it's not good, but the rate of fire makes up for it. But then you have difficulty penning those things like an A13 when it's even angled. And yeah, such bounces or overpens are pure luck. You shouldn't rely on it. And watch this. Yeah, so that was a full penetration. That was a non-penetration, and only with a lot of experience I managed to get the upper hand in this battle. And he didn't have luck, and it took me 3 shots at close quarters. So it's definitely not something like the Packwagen. It's definitely nothing like the Puma. There are in the German tank tech tree at this lower battle rating the Panzer IIs, which are better. And if you want to have something with a lot of style that has in many aspects better performance, go for the Leichter Panzerspähwagen SPZ-B41, aka the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 221. The first light tank, battle rating 1.0, with its 28/20mm schwere Panzerbüchse B41. It has more style. If you want to have high rate of fire, go for the 20mm, the SPAs, etc., etc. But again, to complete your collection, that is probably the one thing that you are looking for. And yeah, if you're a collector, sure. What value would I give this tank on the marketplace? Well, if you get it for €5, $5, 5 Gaijin coins, whatever, that would be kind of a fair price because it's a collectible, and it's a German half track. They have an extra high value in the opinion of the community, as far as I just could figure out. Again, not a good premium, not a good real fighting vehicle. And yeah, the 37mm. Let's go a little bit into its history. So in the First World War, when there were the tanks that just were designed to absorb shrapnels and machine gun rounds, their armor could be easily overcome by heavy flak or heavy direct fire weapons, but there were not that many. And at some point, the tank warfare just became something that every nation had a look into. And German designers or German theorists, etc., they also thought that the enemy would develop before the Second World War some sort of tanks. Obviously the British already had them together with the French, and so not just do you need your own tanks to fight the battles and overcome enemy static fortifications, but also you would have to fight enemy tanks. And what if a certain position was to be overrun? What if a certain position was in dire need of defense? Then obviously you needed to have your own anti-tank weapons. And for that purpose, for First World War armor, this gun was kind of okay. But versus then, especially in the fight versus Matildas, and or also in the fight then on the Operation Barbarossa in 1941 and ongoing, this gun became nicknamed as the Heeresanklopfgerät, the army knocking device, because it just pounced so often. And I think you kind of get the impression here in the game as well. It works versus low tiers, it works versus people with no situational awareness, but versus serious fighters, it just doesn't. And that's it from me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.